I ain't gonna hold you. This thing go crazy.
Don't act like you don't know me. This cake will make you show up. I know you've seen it blow up. As BBL busy. BBL busy. BBL busy. BBL busy. BBL busy. Oh, BBL busy. BBL busy. BBL busy. I'm thicker than a snicker. I'm thicker than a ninja. Don't act like you don't know me.
Hey, why Metro say, I'm thinking of the Snicker.
This cake will make you show up. I know you've seen it blow
Got the best BBL in the game.
BBL
Disrespectful, man. Let's go, Cowboys Nation.
Giving you the real from A to Z surrounding the Dallas Cowboys. News, updates, rumors, transactions, takes, and more. So strap up, Cowboys Nation, and start your day off with A to Z Sports. Live with Will Steele.
3, 2, 1.
Here we go. Hip, hip. Good morning, good people. Welcome to A to Z Sports Live. We're streaming live on YouTube. And of course, I am your host, Will Skywalker Steele. Boom! Got BBL drizzle. Hey, it's mad catchy though. Anyway, coming up today, the Cowboys rookies will be hitting the practice field for the first time tomorrow. I've got some things I want to keep my eyes on coming out of the rookie minicamp. So we'll talk about that. A handful of things. Just bear with me on that. And then in a roundup, the Cowboys are now in the market, right, for a veteran wide receiver. I'm going to talk about why I think that is the right move. And obviously, we'll discuss a little bit about the specific player that came into Dallas yesterday for an official meeting. But what's good, Bomb Squad?
Bomb Squad!
Yeah, D-Block, rocking the NWO Hawkster right now, Hollywood Hulk Hogan. I think this was from the infamous, I guess it's famous, infamous, whatever you want to call it, when he said something along the lines of, NWO for life, brother. You ain't got to love us, but you're going to respect us. You know, something along those lines. That's about the only Hogan. I know a lot of y'all grew up on, this Hogan here. You know, I didn't grow up on that Hogan. I know y'all think I'm old. And I respect that Hogan, right? But I like Hollywood Hogan better because he in real life was an asshole. And he was really a heel for real. But, he changed the game, so I respect what he did for the industry, took it to another level. But he was kind of like Super Cena, back in the day, but that's for a different one. Anyway, man, the wrestling stuff is for an entirely different podcast. Shouts out to your Bomb Squad. Appreciate you for being here this morning. We got a good one lined up for you. I had a guest lined up, but it didn't work out. So I said, you know what? Let's save it for after rookie minicamp. That way you can come on and let us know what you saw down there. So I'll give you what I'm looking for out at rookie minicamp. And next week, we'll talk about what went down at rookie minicamp. And then obviously you can feel free to call in at 351-999-3787. But before all that, let's hit this roundup, squad.
It's time! It's time! It's time! It's time!
It's time.
It's time!
Time?
It is time for...
It's time for the morning roundup. Round 'em up, boys.
Let me talk to you.
Let me talk to you, Cowboys Nation. The Cowboys yesterday did some things at the wide receiver position. First off, before we get into Zay Jones, who met with the Cowboys on Wednesday, right after that, and I know a lot of people were putting two and two together, but right after that, Fan favorite somehow, some way. This dude became a fan favorite. Martavis, breaking news, right? Hey, Foots the King. This is how breaking news works. Let me show you. Breaking news. Cowboys legend Martavis Bryant. Oh, that's Des Bryant. Released by the team. Bryant signed a futures contract, and then they let him go a few months later. Now, a lot of people were putting two and two together, saying, hey, man, Cowboys met with Zay Jones. A couple hours later, Martavis Bryant is gone. Well, they had roster spots anyway, so, they don't really correlate for real. They could have signed Zay Jones and kept Martavis Bryant. They decided not to, and according to Tom Pelissero, he's got some bidders, so we'll see what happens. Good luck to Martavis Bryant. I never really put much stock into that like a lot of people did, but I understand, all new additions or potential new additions excite the Cowboys fans, and sometimes I get caught up in this sometimes too. We go a little bit overboard. You know what I'm saying? We go a little bit overboard. Zay Jones, this one I'm proud of Cowboys fans because for the most part, I feel like what I've seen, I'm going to talk to you guys a little bit about it after the roundup. What I've seen, I think, is the right temperament around a potential addition of a wide receiver like Zay Jones. Former second-round pick, was most recently with the Jaguars the last 2 seasons. In 2023, he battled some injuries and didn't play a whole lot. All right. But when he did come back and play for the Jaguars in the back half of the year, he was a dependable target for Trevor Lawrence. He racked up at least 5 receptions in 4 of his last 5 games for the Jaguars, kind of picking up where he left off in 2022, right? In 2022, he was a legitimate target for Trevor Lawrence. 82 receptions, 823 yards, 5 touchdowns, and we know what he did against the Cowboys. It was the Zay Jones game. It's always somebody's game against the Cowboys every here and there. It's ridiculous. But he torched the Cowboys on their way to an overtime victory in Jacksonville. Now, whether they sign Zay Jones or not, Cowboys Nation, and listen, I would 100% be for this specific player. I think, he's a guy that's been around the league for a while. He's a veteran. And look, he's still, injuries aside, he still showed that he got something to add to a room. Not saying he needs to be a starter per se, but to add to a room. But whether they sign him or not, adding a veteran wide receiver like a Zay Jones makes a ton of sense to me. A ton of it. And this is coming from a guy that says, hey, look, going into the draft, wide receiver, you could have used an extra one, but I didn't put that at the top of my list. I put it on the list because of the future aspect of it. Like, you don't really have an answer right now that we know of for wide receiver 2 for the future. Right now, you got top 2 wide receivers and then Jalen Tolbert, right? That's just the way it's going to be. Their top 3 is set for the Cowboys. You can debate whether or not you like Tolbert or not. But for the Cowboys, the top 3 are set. But what you don't have is a veteran guy behind that can either A, push Tolbert, or B, barring some type of injury, can step in there and kind of hold down the fort because they know what the hell they're doing. Last year, we saw that happen, right? Brandon Cooks got hurt early in the season, had to miss a game. And you had Tolbert kind of step up. He went up a rung, and obviously Michael Gallup went up a rung. And then Jalen Brooks, comes from behind all that and goes up a rung. But they don't have that veteran guy in Michael Gallup anymore. Not that Michael Gallup provided a whole lot, but he was at least a veteran guy. So adding a veteran wide receiver, preferably me personally, an ex wide receiver, into this room gives you a guy that can do those X things. Dallas right now, Tolbert will probably be that guy. I think he's more versatile. McCarthy's a guy that likes to have his wide receivers do a whole bunch of things. Zay specifically primarily lines up outside, but he's moved around throughout his career as well. Goes 6'2", a little over 200 pounds, ran a 4.45 back when he was coming out of college. But most recently with the Jaguars, he's kind of been, in 2022, a go-to target for sure. Calvin Ridley comes aboard, injuries start to creep up, and he has a down 2023, hence probably why his market isn't so hot. But I'd be all for a Zay Jones. In fact, prior to the draft, if you asked me what would you rather do, I would have rather brought in a veteran wideout and then looked into maybe the fourth. Oh, we have a fourth round pick. Oh my goodness. But looked into maybe the fourth round to grab a wide receiver to add to that room to potentially be your wide receiver 2 down the line. But neither of those things happened, and here the Cowboys sit. They're clearly in the market for a veteran wideout, and I agree with the idea. Whether or not you think Zay moves the needle, I don't think he moves it like that, but the idea does. I love the idea of bringing in a guy. Now, there's not a whole lot of them out there. Tyler Boyd just got signed, Cowboys Nation, right? He got signed to Tennessee, and he was primarily a slot guy anyway. One of my favorite unsung hero type wide receivers in the league, Tyler Boyd, but he's a slot guy. I don't think the Cowboys necessarily need that. I think what they need is an X. They need a guy who can do more of the physical things at the line of scrimmage, jump ball type guy, things like that. Now you can say, well, we got it in Brooks and we got it in Flournoy, I'm sorry. But man, we don't really know. Like I'd like to bring in comp. I'm all for bringing in competition, whether that's for Tolbert or whether that's for the Young Bucks. So continue to churn that roster. If I'm Cowboys, let me go look at. I'll throw out some names to y'all. We can talk a little bit. I like Hunter Renfrow. We talked about him prior. Slot wide receiver, not necessarily fitting that mold. I'd be out on Allen Robinson. This is an interesting one. Michael Thomas. Where y'all at on Michael Thomas? The fall from grace of Michael Thomas is crazy. Haven't seen one like it in quite some time. I mean, this dude was unbelievable, and then the injuries piled up. So he's out there on the market. He'll be 32 sometime during the season, I believe. Look, man, so many injuries. I don't even know about Michael Thomas. I don't even think he passed the physical. He got cut by the Saints, obviously, so he's out there. If you're looking for just, I'd rather try out Michael Thomas than Martavis Bryant, but I mean, this is kind of what you're dealing with here. Zay Jones obviously is out there. I like Russell Gage, believe it or not, but he's out there too. Hey, this name is going to be Marquez Valdez Scantling, MVS. Boy, he's an interesting one, man. He was awful during the regular season. Big dude, though. 6'4", speed. If I'm not mistaken, he's a guy that McCarthy might have brought in. I can't remember how long he's been in this league, but he fits the Mike McCarthy mold. He likes the big, fast, physical wideouts. Problem is, that dude got stone hands during the regular season. Then during the postseason, somehow magically, MVS just catches everything. He catches all the big, important passes in the postseason. So MVS is out there too. And I'm going to read off some more X-type wide receivers. And honestly, that might do it. I mean, Laquan Treadwell, maybe my biggest draft miss ever. Bryant's now back on the market. Yeah, there's not many. So if you're looking for the X-type wide receivers, you got Allen Robinson, Michael Thomas, MVS, Zay Jones. You can throw Russell Gage in there too if you want. I wouldn't necessarily call him like super X wide out, but he's been around the block. So those are the names. There's not a lot. What's good, Franklin Football? Who would y'all want? I just named the names. MVS, Michael Thomas, Zay Jones, Allen Robinson. I'll rank them for you. What's good, Nick? Let me rank them for you. I would go Zay number 1. MVS number 2. Michael Thomas, Allen Robinson. And the reason why I'm going to go Michael Thomas, Allen Robinson is if I'm going to take a flyer on one of the two, I'm going to take a flyer on a guy that is better. I think Thomas is a better player than Allen Robinson. But they both pretty much wash at this point. So I got Zay, MVS, Thomas, Robinson. Allen signed this morning. Who's Allen? What am I missing? Oh, Allen Robinson. Okay, well then let's get him up out of there. Then that's fine with me. So Zay Jones, MVS, Michael Thomas. There we go. Those would be my three. So they got to update their thing here on Spotrac. So there you go, right there. Allen Robinson's off the picture. And personally, I would have went with Tyler Boyd. Now I get it. We don't need a slot guy, but if Tyler wanted to be here and the Cowboys are interested, oh man, I'd be doing backflips. I think Tyler Boyd is fantastic. You can do whatever you want to do with Cooks. I've seen some things of, hey, if we bring in a true X, we could put Cooks in the slot. I don't think Cooks is a slot wide receiver per se. Now, can he transition into a full-time slot wide receiver to prolong his career? Absolutely. He's a smart dude. I've seen a guy like Larry Fitzgerald do that, and a couple others. So yeah, I think he can do it. But I don't think he's that. I know the size, right? 5'9" or whatever. He's not a big guy, 5'10". But he doesn't do the slot wide receiver things. Throughout his career, he hasn't done that at least. He's a guy that stretched the field, get the ball to him quick, make some moves, get upfield. But the whip route stuff, we saw him try to do that in the playoffs. The 5 yards, 10 yards, and in stuff, that's really not his game. You want to kind of let him push the field on the boundary, even though he doesn't have the size of a typical boundary wideout. I also don't really look at him as a slot guy. Hunter Renfrow, Cole Beasley, Wes Welker, Tyler Boyd, Tyler Lockett. Like, these guys do slot things. It said, Says not on their list, which is interesting. Is he still out there? Because if he's still out there, wait a minute now. Nah, he signed with the Saints, brother. Yeah, said Wilson signed with the Saints back when free agency hit immediately, March 15th. So, yeah, that would have been a fantastic pickup, but he is not available. So, there you have it, Cowboys Nation. Are you in or are you out on a potential Zay Jones addition? Zay, for me, says Lemitra. Tyler Lockett, man, we were talking about Lockett last year, Toxic. I definitely, they got Jackson Smith and Jigba. I would have tried to throw some bones to Seattle to get Tyler Lockett on this team. Thomas hasn't had a QB since Breeze. Well, Michael Nelson, he also hasn't had a knee since Breeze, apparently. So, we can't really say that, though, either, Michael Nelson, because the young buck, Chris Olave, was eating with Derek Carr. Eating with the same quarterbacks that Michael Thomas, had. But Thomas, he's clearly a bit washed and obviously banged up. It just is what it is. But if you're taking a flyer on a washed, banged up guy, that's the type of guy, right? Who was at the top of the food chain at one point. Anthony's in on Zay. What's it going to hurt? That's how I feel, But I'll also say this, because there's a whole lot of gnashing of the teeth online anytime the Cowboys are interested in anybody, obviously, and you give an opinion on it. But let's not go too far either way here. You bring in Zay Jones, or a guy like Zay Jones, they're here to be veteran depth. They're not here to move the needle as a wide receiver too. They're not here to take your team over the top. You didn't sign Odell Beckham in his prime or anything like that. Anybody brought in at this point is clearly here to be a depth guy, a veteran depth guy, because you don't have that. You got your two veterans, and you got a whole bunch of young guys underneath that. Specifically, you don't have a veteran guy to go out there and play the X wide receiver position. That's why I'm in on that. Hey, Peasy, come on, man. Don't you be crashing. At this point, I'd rather wait for roster cuts if no on Zay. Yeah, there's not a whole lot out there. It's a good point. Drop the Catboy track. This is like Quavo versus. It is pretty mid, but that's where you're at. When you're in May 9th and you look at the free agent market, that's what happens. This is where Stephen Jones and them start to say, yeah, here we go. The draft is over. once June 1st get here, oh man, they get a couple extra bucks. Yeah, this is where they start their free agency. So there you have it. Cowboys Nation, Zay Jones, and the Cowboys meet up. We'll see what happens. He's left Dallas. The most recent update. He's left Dallas. No contract. He's on his way to Kansas City. I'll tell you something right now. If Kansas City want him and he want to be there, you can go ahead and just forget about it. You can forget about it. All right. Quick reset. Quick little reset as we get back to the Cowboys and their draft picks. Their rookie minicamp for me is always the start of that next phase. And if you go look at the Cowboys dates, you'll have the rookie minicamp tomorrow to the 13th, I believe. And then the veterans come in and you get the OTAs and the mini camp, the full mini camp. Then there's that break, come back for actual training camp, starting out there at Oxnard, then they'll make their way down here to Dallas. So there would not be any veterans this weekend down there at the Star. It'll just be a bunch of rookies. They bring in tryout guys. They signed a quarterback because they need an arm. I hope they bring in another position, and we'll get to that here in a second. But I've got some things that I'm watching. And as we go through this, we'll talk to y'all in the chat. And like I said, you can call in 351-999-3787 and give your thoughts as well. And some other things that you may be watching. I didn't include every single little thing here because there's things that you guys may throw out there that we can also have a chat about. But let's start off with the very first thing that I'm keeping my eye on. Big versus big. The Cowboys have made it very clear via the draft that they wanted to get bigger up front on both sides of the ball. Now you say, well, Scott, they didn't take no defensive tackles. That's fair. They took Justin Rogers in the 7th round, but Justin Rogers goes 320-something pounds. Right? Cooper Beebe goes 320-something pounds. Nathan Thomas goes 330-something pounds. They got some big boys. And until Mozzie Smith can get there and the other nose tackles that the Cowboys have, Carl Davis, Justin Rogers, Beebe and Thomas, those are your big guys. And I want to see these two go at it now, or these three go at it. Now I get it. There's not full pads. They won't go 100%. But let's not get it twisted, y'all. This is the first opportunity for these guys to make an impression on these coaches. Now, I'm not saying you go crazy, you hurt somebody, but you best believe Cooper Beebe, Nathan Thomas, and Justin Rogers are going to be out there trying to push dudes on this ground. It's 1,000 pounds of beef, pause, out there for the Cowboys. So I'm looking at that. I'm also looking at Cooper Beebe's first center reps. Now, we've played the audio where he's practiced at center at Kansas State, but not in the games, right? So I want to see, okay, what does his, and this is very early in the situation, but this just is what it is. What does that snap transition look like? It's different, right? From guard to center, where you're not snapping a ball and then that offhand is extremely important. Now the snap hand is just naturally a little later. Whereas in guard, as soon as the ball is snapped, you're ready to go. So, and I know he's been working with Duke Manyweather for a while, and Duke is a center at heart. So I'm really interested to see how early on, is he getting full-time center snaps? Is Brock Hoffman showing up, which he probably shouldn't. He's a veteran kind of now. Or is he doing guard things and center things? Is it mostly guard and then only a few reps at center? I'd like to see him work primarily at center because the more reps, the better. So Cooper Beebe, Nathan Thomas, Justin Rogers, you know what it is.
You just made the list.
You made the list. Got my eyes on you. Got my eyes on you. Yeah, man. Center is 100% not an easy thing to do. I trust Cooper Beebe to be able to do it because he's very smart. He's physical. He's played up and down the line at Kansas State. He's had a little bit of experience at practice doing it. Will there be some growing pains? Maybe early, but I expect that to be nullified by seasons and at the very latest, but likely before that because I think he's a really good player. Let's hit the lines real quick. D Shift calling in early. It's been a grip. What's good with you, D Shift?
What's up? Man, chilling, man. Man, always good to hear from you, man. I know the off season kind of gives y'all boys some leeway to chill a little bit, man, but it's all good, man. We be missing y'all, man.
Hey, chill is relative because as much as I'd love to have a nice, cool off-season break, that's hardly a thing here. We still, you know what I'm saying? We still here. I got you
that's
covered.
Right. That's right. That's right. Nah, man, but I like the name you brought up with Sean Rogers. I don't know if that'll give us any indication on how Mike Zimmer is going to use that one tech.
Justin. You mean Justin Rogers?
Justin Rogers. There you go.
Yeah.
Did I say Sean Rogers?
Yeah.
Wrong.
It's all good.
Yeah. But so Justin, I don't know if they can give us any indication on how Mike Zimmer is going to want to use or value that one tech and, moving on, to Mozzie. And just want to see Tyler Guyton, our second round pick Needle. I just want to see something from our top three to give us insurance that this isn't going to be another project year for draft picks because I just the state we're in, we can't afford 2 years of that.
I hear you.
We can see something promising from these guys immediately. That I think that will kind of put some nerves at rest a little bit, just given our talent or lack of talent acquisition over the offseason.
So for the latter part, I don't know that you're going to get that until camp, right? Because that aspect, you have to see where these guys fit with the veterans on the depth chart,
right.
competition, things like that. But if you're just looking for something from these guys at rookie minicamp, I get that. You want to get a little bit of positivity coming out of it, but to see where they will fit from a depth chart standpoint, that's going to be tough to decide without those guys there, man. They're all going to get reps. It's going to be almost impossible to know how exactly they're going to use nose tackles, like you said, at rookie minicamp. This is going to be more so just the basics, whatnot. But we'll see what Justin Rogers can do once they get down to camp and maybe even true minicamp, not rookie minicamp. But right now, I think it's just kind of individual drills, one-on-ones, just picking up the basics for these guys.
All right, and then also with Cooper Beebe, I hear a lot of optimism, like the vibe about him. And I know, rookies tend to get a little bit more of a optimism than, like, say, Biotish. And you say there will be growing pains, certain things that Biotish might have known as just a seasoned veteran. So I remember the Travis Frederick pick, and I think that was the vibe too, like how quick can Frederick come in and take over the spot that's been held down by, I think Costa held that down, like 2 or 3 seasons?
I don't think it was that long, but it was a lot of guys. Bill Nagy, Phil Costa, Bernard. I mean, a lot of guys were going in and out at that position, but yeah.
Mm-hmm. So I just hopefully something that will give us insurance that, Lightning's about to strike twice at this center position where you're obviously Biotish was way better than the guys we just mentioned. But maybe that's going to make it like a little taller of a task for BB. But I see
where you're going. I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
If you basically this is a very interesting point you're making here. Frederick coming in had to just essentially replace, let's call it what it is, scrubs. He was replacing scrubs. Biotish is not a scrub. Biotish was a 4-year starter, 3.5 if you count his rookie year. He was in and out, and he wasn't a scrub. He just wasn't a franchise center. So the bar is raised a little bit higher for Cooper Beebe, and if he meets that bar year one or exceeds it, yeah, I mean, then you can start talking about Travis Frederick in regards to comparison as a career. But until then, let's see him meet that bar first.
Yeah, I think there's just a situation, not wanting him to be Travis, but still wanting him, hoping that he can come in.
Yeah.
Maybe mid-season, have you feeling like Biotish, kind of like how Ferguson did with Schultz, this past season. So I just, just because I feel like that's a very important position, and if he's that intelligent to take over those reads,
Very important.
I mean, you can at least, set the lineup and take something off of Dak's plate pre-snap. That'd be awesome, man. So just kind of looking forward to those things, man. But I appreciate everything you do, bro, and we'll just sit back and listen.
All right, man. Appreciate it. Good call, D-Shift. I was scanning the chat here, and I saw Daxon's name get brought up. Trust and believe me, I thought about Denzel Daxon because he's the only other defensive tackle I think they signed in UDFA, and somebody said he's 340. If Denzel Daxon was 340, trust and believe me, I would have included him on this list here in big versus big. It would have been a tag team situation. However, unless Dane Brugler got this thing completely wrong, Denzel Daxon ain't 340, he 304. So Daxon is more he's more of a average 3 tech size. Now, look, bro could have got that wrong. But I didn't see 340 from Denzel Daxon. But this guy here, Justin Rogers, I'm not sure if we're going to get to him in the breakdown of our rating the draft series. I'm thinking about doing something special for all 3 of those 7th and 6th round picks. But let me just say this. I want to see him out there. That's all. That's all I'm saying. Because personally, coming out of college, I think Big Country was better. I think Big Country was bigger, stronger. He knew the how, I think, better. And it's not a knock on Rodgers. I think there's things to Rodgers. He's a big guy. He can hunker down. I think he's not very athletic, not very long in the sense of arm length, things like that. But the reason why I bring up Big Country is because I liked Big Country coming out. I thought Big Country had a future in Dallas because I thought Dan Quinn was valuing that position. I thought Big Country was going to be a guy that gets in there, goal line, short yardage early on, and then maybe the next year he becomes your full-time guy. We got out to camp. Big Country was the worst defensive tackle out there. And it wasn't like Big Country had to, go up against the Tyrans and Zachs and Biotishes and these guys, and he's a rookie. This stuff is not easy to get. And if you rank the defensive tackles, and this was when Tristan was here and Bo was here, and so weird. We went from having a lot of bodies in the room, not all scrubs, but guys you could throw out there. Neville Gallimore and Osa and these boys. We had a lot of bodies to 3. One of them is dealing with a shoulder issue right now. So Rodgers going to get a shot. I'm just going to reel myself in though and say, let me go see him at camp real quick. Because last time a better, in my opinion, player at the same position got out to camp, he didn't bode well. So let me just wait for him, Let me just wait for him. So you say ESPN and the Cowboys have this Dax kid at 320? Maybe he put on some weight. But I'm looking at the Beast, and looks like I'll read off some of his measurables here. Denzel Daxon, Illinois, 6'2", 304, ran a 5.5 40, 312 in the 20-yard dash, 8.3 in the broad jump, and this is from Brugler. So this is from Brugler. So I'm not sure when he, ESPN or the Cowboy, I don't know. But that comes from Brugler. So if he goes 320, that does put him in the big. But 304 doesn't put him in the big for me. Johnny says, screw it. We're running 2 nose tackles on the defensive line. Who? Oh, Mozzie. Who? Mozzie and this kid? I highly doubt that Osa's not going to start. Highly doubt that. Would I like? I bet you wish we had Country. Hell yeah. Of course. I thought it was shocking that they cut Big Country in 3 games into the season. Shocking. They got rid of him. Well, they should have just IR'd Dak Prescott, and then they would have to keep him. They could have IR'd Big Country or whatever they wanted to do. But that was a shocker to me. But then as the years go by, you realize, okay, we were hoodwinked.
You've been had. You've been took. You've been hoodwinked. Bamboozled. Hey, run on muck. This is what he does.
We were lied to. Dan Quinn lied to us about the position. You know, he drafted those two big guys and then he cut them, right? You know, not too long in. Yeah, Grande Papi. Yeah, Osa's not a nose tackle. Hence why I don't think they'll run two nose tackles out there as starters. Osa's too good. He's going to be too good for Zimmer to just sit down, right? Like, he don't fit the Zimmer scheme. He doesn't. But he's good. So Zimmer going to have to figure a way to work around that. He started one fight, but he wasn't good talking about Big Country. He wasn't good in preseason, wasn't good at camp. But that don't mean you cut the dude. He's a 5th round pick. Give him a shot. You know, groom him, develop him. And that was one of my issues we talked about with Dan Quinn. I don't truly believe he developed this defensive line all like that. The only guy that in my opinion, I think I would say is Osa. And that fits kind of that Grady Jarrett mode. And Osa's a pass rusher. Everybody else, man, you could maybe want to throw Micah in there, but Micah's Micah. Ooh, Nick said trade Osa for a defense. Look, I love Osa, but listen. If I can get me a guy, I put him on the block, man. All right. Some more things I'm looking at coming out of rookie minicamp. Tyler's technique refinement. A few years ago, I had a good buddy on the show, Dave Hellman, and we were discussing what he saw out there at minicamp. And one of the first things that Dave told me about at that time, Tyler Smith, who was a rookie, was how impressive it was that he already seemed to be taking the coaching, right? He already seemed to be cleaning up his hands. Because one of the things that is similar between Tyler Smith and Tyler Guyton coming out of college is that they needed to refine their technique, specifically their hands. One guy in Tyler Smith, his hands were wild because he was trying to quite literally maul you and put you through the dirt. Another guy in Tyler Guyton, his hands are wild in the sense of he wants to be technical. He's more finesse, but he just doesn't have it down pat consistently. So I want to know, has the work with Duke Manyweather showcased itself yet? I'm not looking for Guyton to be fixed. I'm just looking for something similar from what happened with Tyler Smith, where it was Dave who came on and said, man, I was very impressed with Tyler Smith's, hands and him taking on to cleaning those things up. And he moved into guard, so he did some guard work that weekend too. This was prior to the whole tackle situation. This is what he was doing with Duke a couple days ago. We talked about this when we were talking about Guyton and BB working out with Duke down at the Star or across the street from the Star. And already you see him, just working on a bunch of different things. And I know a lot of people will critique the video in general. I'm speaking from a generalization of what he's doing, not necessarily critiquing. Well, I don't know what they're working on. Duke is not telling me, hey, this is exactly what we're working on for me to critique exactly what they're doing. So I like the fact that he's down there working and trying to get better at what he knows he needs to be better at. He spoke with the press after he was drafted, and it was Nick Harris who asked a question about moving over from right to left and things like that. But within his response, he brought up technique. Here's his response here.
Going from the right side to the left side, there's going to be just a little bit of changes in doing that. Granted, you were still blocking for a blindside quarterback in Dylan Gabriel since he's left-handed, but what do you think you're going to have to kind of work on to be able to manifest that left tackle spot?
Just refining my technique, repetition over and over, doing it so much that I can't get it wrong. It's just switching your footwork, switching your hands and your technique, and also flipping the plays in your mind. I've been playing left tackle since I got into college. I actually feel like I'm better at left tackle, and I'm more comfortable over there anyway, so I feel like the switch will be pretty easy.
I love to hear that, by the way. Man, it's going to be easy. I'm not worried about it. One thing you don't have to worry about is him having 1,200 snaps at right tackle, 0 at left. He only played like a year and a half at right tackle in general. But he said, hey, man, I came into college being a left tackle, probably at TCU, didn't play much, transferred, and then eventually worked his way into a starter at Oklahoma. So I don't think he has so many reps at right tackle that it's going to hurt him listening to what he's saying. But it was something that I thought about prior. It was like, okay, what's that switch going to be like? Because he's going to be the starter. He said, man, I ain't worried about that. I just got to flip things up, be fine. He's young. He's not experienced. He's young. He's athletic. I think he is gifted as a player. Now it's just about refining his technique, and that's why it's one of the things I want to watch for. Who is the offensive lineman next to Guyton? What do you mean by that, Toxic? Like Tyler Smith? Oh, I don't know what's in there. We'll run 2-1 techs and OSAT right in. Is this are you assuming that Mike is going to be a full-time linebacker? Or this is what you want, Johnny Jackson? You want Mike at linebacker, OSAT, and things like that. If we want to play this game, what I would do if we're going to put Mike at linebacker, right? But I don't think that's going to be the case. But let's just play the game. Mike at linebacker, I think you still go with Sam. I don't think Osa gives you the same upside from a pass rush department at the right defense end. That's the blind side for the quarterback as a Sam Williams. Osa from the inside from a pass rush department, sure. Osa on the edge, not necessarily. Plus you got Nealon too. I think you would even roll with Nealon before you'd roll with Osa full time as a right defensive end. I don't know about all that. That seems a bit much. Maybe you run packages, right? Or you throw Osa out there. He's done that with Dan Quinn. But full time, you got Sam, you got Nealon, you can do that with. And that's with the Mike at linebacker. I don't think it's happening, Mike a full-time linebacker. They drafted Marist Liufau to be a linebacker, right, for the future. And to add depth to that room, Demo, Clark, Kendricks. I think it's safe to say Mike is not playing linebacker full-time. Maybe you get him back there moonlighting, but not full-time. And look, I like Micah at line. Like me, I'd put Micah at linebacker and DE, but I'm just going off what the Cowboys feel like they're doing. So he said switch D-Law with Micah. So yeah, Johnny, you doing a whole lot, bro. Johnny, you're doing a whole lot, my guy. A whole lot. Let's take off one of our best defensive players and our best against the run. Yeah, I ain't doing that, man. All right. The next thing I'm looking for here. I'm looking at the lone wolf at running back. It's not true. I'm looking at the lone wolf at running back, Nate Peat. Nate Peat has an opportunity here to get the Cowboys' attention right away. Dallas didn't draft a running back. They didn't sign a bunch, which shocked me. I thought for sure the Cowboys would sign at least 3 running backs in undrafted free agency. They didn't do that. They signed 1. So unless Deuce Hunter shows up, unless Hunter Lipke shows up, or Deuce Vaughn or Hunter Lipke shows up, Nate Peat going to get all the opportunities, all the reps. It's a good thing on one end because he'll have so many chances to impress the coaches. On the other end, he might get a bit tired. You know, the one thing about rookie minicamps is it's not a full-fledged roster there yet. So, 13 undrafted free agents plus your rookie class, you're looking at less than 30 people out there. So you're going to have all these reps is going to a few people. So you're going to be tired. So let's see how he handles that. Let's see if he can make an impression. He didn't get a whole lot of opportunities in college, so he should be well rested anyway. And another reason why he's a guy that, keep my eyes on, he's the juice guy, right? You could argue Deuce Vaughn could be that. I view Deuce Vaughn more of in a satellite role, but Nate Peat is supposed to be the juice guy. I think he ran like a 4.5 at the combine or something like that, and then an unofficial 4.37 on his pro day. Either way, he plays like he has some juice, more straight line linear juice in my opinion, but he has some. So if he can pop at minicamp, And you pull out that pen and paper and say, okay, let's see what he got when we get down. Because we saw Deuce impress at camp. It didn't get opportunities. Now, they weren't the best opportunities, but then he got opportunities early and they sat him down. Can Nate Pete do the same thing? And that's why they made the list.
You just made the list.
Man, y'all went from calling him Smole. Talking about Deuce Vaughn. That was his nickname, right? Smole or whatever. Y'all went from calling him that to Webster. Oh. Y'all ain't right. Y'all are not right. Think the running back squad going to be all right? The running back room? And look, man. Can I see how we're going to do it? That's all. Like, because let's be real. Remove your Cowboys bias. We all have it. Remove it. Throw these names out there. Just put this running back room right here. You say Zeke, Rico, Royce, Deuce, Hunter Lipke, Nathaniel, Pete, Snoop, Connor. How we feeling? Remove the Cowboys bias for a second. You know damn well you're looking at that thing sideways like, hey, man. We done here? What are we talking about, right? So I do think we need to see how, if that is improved, and obviously, can these rookies the Cowboys brought in here, can they increase the run blocking department? I definitely think that Cooper Beebe can. Can Tyler Guyton? That's not his strength, but can Cooper Beebe and Tyler Guyton, two rookies, take your run blocking unit that doesn't have a scheme to depend on right now and say, scheme be damned, these dudes are going to open up huge lanes all year. As much as I love Cooper Beebe and Tyler Guyton, I told y'all for the future, I'm super excited about this offensive line with Tyler, Cooper, and Terrence and Tyler Smith. 2024, hey, let me see these boys get out there and move guys around, because I understand there's going to be growing pain. That's why I'm not sitting here putting my expectations high in the run game, especially because we didn't bring in a run game guy just quite yet. I know y'all going to say Boston College dude, but I don't know about all that yet. If we brought in a dude from one of these trees, oh, my whole mind frame changes. Whole mind frame changes. Short yardage, goal line, yeah, I feel better about it. But just in general, some of y'all a lot more high on this room than I am. I'm waiting. I'm waiting to see, man. Is Mike Solari, are we going to be more mono power? Are we going to go back to this gap stuff? I hate it. You know, as much as I love Tyler Smith, I don't like him pulling in the same sense that Cooper Beebe was pulling on that inside track. I hate that. Now, if we're getting Tyler Smith pulling outside, totally different story. Call Todd Gurley. Call Cam Akers. Hey, we can call everybody. And they need to add some more people to this room. There's not a whole lot of guys in free agency, though. I would be so more looking at possibly trading for one of these dudes. You know? Just me. All right, and the last thing I'm keeping my eyes out for at rookie minicamp. How well is Ford built? Yes, a whole bunch of puns intended right there. Lunda Wells, one of my favorite assistant coaches on this team, man, and really, honestly, probably should get way more credit as one of the best assistant coaches on this team, because he has really developed this room since he's been here. He's gotten the best out of Schultz, gotten the best out of Ferg, Hendo, undrafted free agent. He made some plays his rookie year. Now Schoonmaker has no different story, but John Stephen Jr. was he needs to get a lot of respect for what he's done. So I look at these tight ends, and the prized tight end or the prized player out of this undrafted free agent crop is the tight end Spanford. Brevin Spanford. We talked about him a little bit a few weeks ago, or maybe it was last week. And he's this year's big name, right? Last year, it was Hunter Lipke, TJ Bass. The year before that, it was Marquise Bell. If you guys remember in 2021, guys like Tyler Coyle found himself on the 53-man roster. 2020, does Terrence Steele, Rico Dowdle ring a bell? Jalen Guyton the year before that, Luke Gifford. So the Cowboys, year after year after year, constantly get one or multiple undrafted free agents to make the team or impact on the team. Brevin Spanford is their top guy right now. They paid him the most money. He, in my opinion, from a talent standpoint, looks to be the best on that side of the ball. But while Ford is going to have all his eyes on him, he does have a little bit of competition. They also signed another tight end out of UCF, Alec Holler. As I said, Howler. Not really sure how to say it, but they signed another guy. So there'll be some competition down there. So which one of these guys makes the first impression on Lunda Wells? Because Lunda Wells he formed a tight-knit relationship with that room. And I think it's paid off. Obviously, Jake Ferguson is one of the best tight ends in the league. That's going to be one of my most proudest developments probably for a while that I'm doing is Jake. I mean, you saw it and you're just like, man, he's next. And the thing about tight end, you need the ops. He wasn't going to get those ops with Schultz here. And boy, I'm excited for the future of Jake Ferguson. I do think we have our Travis Kelce, 100%. But he also is a dog, and I think just in general, right? I think he'll put you on your ass if you give him a shot. Am I saying he's Martellus Bennett as a blocker, but he ain't shying away from it. Anyway, can Brevin Spanford or the other tight end make a big-time first impression on Lunda Wells? Because if they do, we've seen what that can mean for you and your potential to be on this roster. John Stevens Jr., from what I was told last year, paraphrasing, I can't even quote it because I don't want to quote the source wrong, but it's something along the lines of he loves this kid. This was prior to the injury and whatnot. He loves this. I know we were all, loving what he was doing at camp, but I mean, behind the scenes, he could care less about a Hunter Lipke or about a Peyton Hendershot, about a Sean McEwen. It was John Stevens Jr., right? You had Jake Ferguson. You had the second round pick. It was John Stevens Jr. Then he gets hurt and Hendo gets lucky. Let's be honest. If you can catch the eye of Lunda Wells, he has some juice. He has garnered enough respect to say, hey, look, I know Hendo's been here for a few years. I know you like Sean McEwen. I ain't saying he's around. But this is the guy. This is my guy. And if he's my guy, he's the guy on this team. And not just Brevin Spanford, any other tight end that they may decide to bring in. So that's why I want to see if he can make a good first impression. Now, we still have camp to go. First impressions are important, which is why Brevin Spanford.
You just made the list.
You made the list. You made the list. So there you have it, Cowboys Nation. Those are some of the things I'm looking for. Honorable mention, a bit of a safety battle, right? Amani Johnson, Julius Wood, both of these guys do things. Julius Wood, hard-hitting dude. Amani Johnson, box-type safety. The reason why I didn't feature them, I think the Cowboys are set at safety, so I'm not really too worried about that position, but maybe one of them pushes off a guy like Israel McQuam or something like that. But that's kind of honorable mention. But for me, I want to see how well Brevin Spanford does out there. Does he impress Lunda? Nate Peat. Can Nate Peat make a great first impression himself? Because there's not a whole lot of running backs out there. The next two, or this one is huge. Maybe the biggest one, right? Your Cowboys first round pick. The main thing he needs to clean up year one is those hands. Has to work with Duke Manyweather showcase itself early, like it did with Tyler Smith when he was drafted. And then finally, I want to see these big guys get mad at each other. I'm not saying I want to see a fight, not just yet. Let's get the pads on first. But Cooper Beebe, Nathan Thomas against one Justin Rogers. And then also Cooper Beebe's first opportunity at getting some center reps with the team. That's what I'm looking for. So you got a combination of your drafted picks and undrafted guys. And the Cowboys, you know, we can poo-poo the guys who get a lot of hype as undrafted guys, but one thing you can't poo-poo is the Cowboys' ability to hit on undrafted guys. I mean, we could talk about the history, you know, Miles Austin, Cole Beasley, Dan Bailey, Barry Church, Ron O'Leary, Tony Romo. And you can go further back, right? I think Cliff Harris is those type of guys. But there's also the present. I ain't saying immediate, the present. TJ Bass, Hunter Lipke, Marquise Bell, Rico Dowdle, Terrence Steele, Luke Gifford got a contract. Jalen Guyton's out here still in the league. So, you know, the Cowboys, they're also their free agency. There may be some hype that you may not be with, and that's fine. But let's not ignore the fact that they usually will hit on a few guys that will make this team and will make a contribution to this team. Hardly do these guys not make any contribution when they get signed or brought up or anything like that. Malik Davis is another guy, but not contributing a whole lot, but he's another guy that made the team. So don't rule out the UDFAs just yet. Don't rule out the Brevin Fords or the Nathaniel Peets. And I'm a guy who doesn't think Nathaniel Pete is that great, but I ain't ruling him out. The room needs the competition, and they don't have a guy that gives that type of juice like that. So let's keep our eyes on it. In the meantime, let's wrap to Keystone. What's good, Keystone? Shouts out to 717 in the building.
What's going on, Sky? Can you hear me?
Got you loud and clear, brother.
Hey, what's going on, chat? What's going on, everybody? I noticed that you was talking about the UDFAs,
Yep.
and you was talking about Emmanuel Johnson, because he's one of my guys that I hit. And the thing that I like about Emmanuel so much is not only he can defend the run, but he also can cover. And for some people don't know that, he plays slot corner as much too. So I really ain't get a chance to catch film on him. But when you look at him all around, and he's a special teams guy, but some people don't know that he had a combination of 52 blocks of extra points and field goals. So that got bones written all over him.
Wait. Did you say he had 52 blocks?
Yep, combined with extra points and field goals.
Bro, do you understand how absurd that is? Are you sure about that?
That's positive. I did my homework. Positive.
52 blocks.
Extra points and field goals combined. Yes.
Hey, man, put this man.
He should be able to come in and take.
Hey.
He should go in there and put him on the roster.
He don't got to do nothing else. If he really, I'm not even going to check it right now. I'll look at this later. 52. Do you understand how absurd that is? I don't even know if the Cowboys have 52 field goal blocks in their lifetime.
No.
Are we sure about this, bro? Or are you talking about like high school?
No. College.
Oh, my God.
No. Yeah, because it popped up when I did his profile, when I checked up on him back when I was
put him on
on
team.
season 4 in my sleeper files.
I don't need to know nothing else. He don't got to do. Do you know how big that is? If you could block, if you could save 3 or 1 point, oh, put him on the team. I don't care what he do.
That's what I'm saying. That's why I'm on the sidelines rooting for him, yo. He can knock somebody out of there off the practice squad or one of them safeties. He can take somebody's spot. Dude's him being 6'2", 6'3", 214 pounds. He got the left. He got Zimmer written all over him.
So I like the safety room. I think you've got 4 quality safeties. When you look at the Young Bucks and Bell and Thomas, and then you got Dono and Hooker. Those are my. I don't think he's getting in over them. But it's Israel Mukuamu. Yes, Israel Mukuamu. If you want to put him in over Izzy, him, or Julius Woods, I ain't gonna fight you. But I'm just still taken back by 52 blocks, bro. I mean, geez.
Yes. I'm not lying, fam. I'm not lying at all. I did my homework, and you know Keystone do his homework.
Oh, I know for sure. That is crazy.
Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, I just wanted to get that out. You know what I'm saying? You know, I know you got other callers, and you still got a show to run.
Nah,
I'm
we
still be
good.
on the sidelines watching.
We good, Keystone. You're the only one right now, man. But I appreciate that. You about to make me really go look him up. I know Nick Harris has been high on him. Julius Wood is a guy that that's the safety I was looking at. It's just that I'm gonna be honest with you. I just feel so secure about the room. I feel like it's gonna be hard for one of these guys to crack it. I think we might get into a situation where, if you remember, Wanye Thomas didn't make the team his rookie year. He came back on a practice squad. Maybe something like that happens. Maybe a Tyler Coyle, right? He got cut, but he came back on a practice squad. Maybe they do that with Johnson or Julius Woods, unless they just go stupid in the preseason.
Don't cut Wood. I cut Coyle before I cut Wood.
No,
when I seen Julius Wood
Coyle's not on this. Coyle's not on this team, bro. I'm saying I'm just giving you examples of what happened, right? Tyler Coyle got cut, but he was on the practice squad. Eventually, got called up. Wanye Thomas, same thing, cut, but got put on the practice squad. Look, if Isaiah Land couldn't make the team last year, Julius Wood and the boys got a hill to climb because that room is deep. And what we've noticed with Dan Quinn, Keystone, is he's not going to, not Dan Quinn, Mike Zimmer, he's not going to do what Dan Quinn did. He's not going to run 3 safeties. So while you might have needed 6 safeties, 5 or 6 safeties last year, you probably only really need 4.
Right. Yeah, that makes a whole lot of sense.
Yeah.
Yeah. But
Ain't that
I definitely
crazy?
appreciate you, Sky.
Ain't that crazy?
It is crazy,
no,
man.
No, I'm looking in the
That's
chat.
real crazy.
No, I'm looking in the chat. We talking about Julius Woods right now, and Vosh just dropped his Julius Woods film. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna spam the chat with that in a second. So, man, look how that worked out.
Most definitely. Thanks a lot, Sky. Look,
Yes,
I get back to work. I appreciate you, fam.
Appreciate you, bro. It's Keystone, man. Make sure y'all look out for his Keystone sleepers every year, man. He's in the lab doing the work probably right now for next year. Look at that. Look, hey, Vosh, you can't tell me, hey, Vosh, show yourself, sir. Show yourself. Boy, you want to talk about good marketing right there. Copy link. We're going to spam that real quick in a second because we about to wrap it up. Bam, let's go back to this. Let's go look at some of these super chats. And man, timing is perfect right now. He said, Vosh doing that K-Dash. Oh, you want to talk about Julius Woods? 10 seconds later, pow! Julius Woods. Hey, it's genius. I want to share something so bad with y'all about what's in the works, but I can't just yet. But man, it's so crazy how like sometimes a door closes, one door opens, and I'm excited for the future. What we got going on, me and Vosh. Let's get to these supers. Oh, y'all was in here. Y'all wasn't playing today. Okay.
Super chat.
We got Chris. What's up, Chris? We don't wipe them 304. He said breaking news. Zay Jones. You gotta put foots. Breaking news. Zay Jones could sign with the Cowboys. Yeah, facts.
Super chat.
Lemitra dropped 2 and said Zay will be our Alvin Harper. Will be a great pick. Brother L, what do we need? We need a win. Love you, Lemitra. I just always think it's funny that we always have to go back into like the early 90s, man, because we have nothing else to lean on. Our next Alvin Harper. Miss Lemitra, come on now. But appreciate you.
Super chat.
Nick dropped 2 and said, who is Toxic Tom? Nick, are you new here? Sometimes we get new people. Toxic Tom, he is our toxic accountant fan. He is a staple of this show, this program, and this community, sir. If you're new here, just stick around. He calls into the show and he gives us one of his toxic takes. Very frequent. I think you'll come to enjoy. Either you're going to enjoy him or he's going to piss you off and you ain't going to realize what's going on. But look, Toxic loves this team. He just wants what's best for this team. Toxic in the chat. I'm a legend. Tell him, bro. Shouts out to the Vikings fan, Shaq.
Super chat.
He dropped one. It said, or dropped two. It said Zimmer's going to use Micah like he did Barr in Minnesota. That was the initial thought process for us, Shaq. No doubt about it. Now there is this audio clip of Mike Zimmer talking about the Cowboys when he was just working with their third team, and he was speaking with Marvin Lewis, and he brought up. I mean, again, I'm not saying this is verbatim, but paraphrasing, he said something along the lines of, why would you ever take him off the line of scrimmage? Now, this is him not being a coach. No, he said he's a ridiculous pass rusher. It's hard to take him off the line of scrimmage. So you got that, and then you have them signing Eric Kendricks, drafting Marist Liufau, and this is what Mike Zimmer said about Marist Liufau. Let's play this again.
So much.
You sold me when you told me what everybody on the defense was doing it when you were here.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Man, I had a great time.
Yeah. Well, you're going to have a better time now.
You know, so, and then you got Demo here who can do some of those Anthony Barr things, I think. You got, from a blitzing standpoint and drop back standpoint, Clark is still there. It just feels like, I could be wrong, but it feels like Micah's going to be primarily defensive end here, where Anthony Barr was primarily linebacker. That's all I'm saying, Shaq. And you got, look, you know Zim in and out at Minnesota. But until we get to camp and we see Micah playing a whole lot at linebacker, I feel like he's going to be 80% defense end. I'm all for 70-30. 65-35, but it feels like just early. We in May. It just feels that way. 1906.
Super chat.
He dropped 5. He said, RB1 Zeke is fine as a leading running back by committee. If blocking is improved, still liability. Biotish was liability. Draft picks on O-line look very good. I suppose. I mean, at the end of the day, whoever starts isn't necessarily that big of a deal anymore. If Zeke is your lead guy by committee, meaning he's going to get what, 10 to 11 carries tops. We're not talking 15 to 20. We're looking in that 10 to 12 range, and like half of those goal line short yardage. Say he finishes a day 10 carries, 43 yards, get you a touchdown, convert some short yardage. Let's say they don't add another back. Rico gets you 8 carries, 38 yards. You sprinkle in a Royce Freeman, 4 or 5 carries, 16 yards. I think you can live with that as long as you're being honest in what you're doing from a run game approach. If it's going to be how they used TP last year, well, I feel like by the end of the year, maybe Zeke could be dealing with some things. I think they need to legitimately use the committee. 1906. 100%. But if they're going to lean on him now, we're going to fight on that one. Still, them boys dropped
Super chat
5 and said, make it a priority to get Ferg the ball and use Cook's Turpin correctly. Look, Ferg, I felt with Ferg, but he started to emerge as the year went on. Cooks took some time, right? He also emerged. But I think what we're not taking into account with the wide receiver room is Brandon Cooks. Maybe there's a sour taste in our mouth because of what happened with the interception of that weird. I mean, that's a poor concept in my opinion, and that's backed by, I think it was Kurt Warner who he backed. He said that's a terrible concept. Maybe we have a sour taste in our mouth with him. But let's remember, Brandon Cooks, they didn't know what the hell to do with him yet. They couldn't figure it out. Then it was the Chargers game where they started to figure it out. And ever since then, he started to show up, and he had 8 touchdowns. 8 touchdowns last year, and he didn't really get going until like week 6. So I don't think it's going to take that long. I think Cooks is going to pick up where he left off early. So now I think Cooks is legitimate. Not saying he wasn't legitimate last year, but from the rip, Cooks is legitimate number 2 to CD Lamb. You could argue Tolbert. They really didn't start getting him more snaps until they was like, you know what, Gallup ain't really that guy. So let's get Tolbert involved more. Tolbert's obviously going to be better in year 3, having the experience. So Cooks and Tolbert are going to be better for this team early at the position. Where I'd like to add more comp or more depth is because insurance purposes, because you don't have a veteran at a specific spot in regards to X wide receiver. So if something happened to any of those three guys, who's sliding in that X that you can count on, that knows what they're doing out there? That's not a rookie from a small school. Didn't we just see how that happened a few years ago, depending on a rookie from a small school? As much as I like Flournoy, that could take some time. And this scheme is not designed on a lot of option routes, but at the end of the day, it's still a scheme that requires some damn know-how, right? And some chemistry with the quarterback. So I'm still for bringing somebody up in here. However, though, between Ferg, Cooks, get Turpin involved too, Lamb, yeah, you got weapons to get good. Like, that was never I think you have the weapons. You got to use them. The future of the position could use some influx. Veteran depth could use some influx there, but you have enough to be a dynamic pass game offense. Zeke's blocking will help. I think the blocking was fantastic last year at the running back position. I think that's a misconception. We talked about this a few days ago. Zeke actually was a worse blocker than Tony Pollard last year, probably last 2 seasons, but definitely last year. But we think about Zeke, being the top tier blocker that he was. Now, Zeke is your best blocker in this room. That's for damn sure. But your blocking from the running back position was good. Tony Pollard was one of the best run blocking running backs in the league last year. And you got to give that credit to McCarthy and the coaching staff because, he came in, that was something he lacked. And they said that they kind of altered their blocking scheme for the backs, the responsibilities, and he lived up to it. Was he perfect? No, but he was damn good. Statistically, one of the best in the league at the position, given the amount of reps. So I don't necessarily think, at the very least, you probably get a push, right? If we think about what Zeke was in his prime, he's not that anymore. But he's a veteran, so he should see these things coming. He has the body to throw his body into it and whatnot. But will he be better than TP? TP was damn good, man. If he's better than TP, yeah, we on to something. Yeah, Marcus, he was pretty damn good last year. Archie thinks Zeke is going to show something, especially if they can take a page from New England usage, get him in space more, let him use his hands, because because mother effers don't like tackling him in space. Yeah, usage. It's going to be all about usage with this running back room. Let me see here if I still got this running back room up. Yep, sure do. It's going to be about usage. Each one of these guys, at least, you could say all of them, they all have a specific thing that they do well. Rico is a slasher. I think he can catch the ball at the backfield pretty good. Zeke power, right? He can one cut, dip his head down, short yardage, goal line. Royce, he's kind of same. I think he has more juice though after contact than Zeke. Deuce Vaughn, satellite guy. Like, again, this room isn't this crazy room where, like, if you remove what I'm saying right now and just look at it on the surface, I'm not excited about it. But if this is all you got, it's like, okay, well, what can I do to get the most out of them? How about use them to their strength? There's not one guy in here I think is going to make teams change up what they want to do to you. But it's about how you use them that will make teams do it. If you're not a serious run team, dude, this ain't 2016. They're not loading the box up for Zeke. You know what I'm saying? If you're not a serious, not with Lamb and Dak being who they are, and Cooks out there and Ferg, you'd be a damn fool. But if this is all you got to work with, then you absolutely need to pull out the best of what they do. Zeke in short yardage, hammer type guy. Maybe you loosen up the defense a bit. Get Rico in space. I don't want to see Rico running, through the A gaps and power all the damn time. Let's just create a lane, get it, stick his foot in the ground, and go. I think Royce is a more souped up Zeke in the sense of I just think he has more pop, but he provides the same purpose as Zeke. Goal line, short yardage, big back, 6 foot, 235 plus. Yeah, I don't have Snoop on here because I don't believe Snoop Connor he's just a camp potty. So I don't think Snoop Connor's gonna. Yeah. Before we get out of here, Nacho called in. Let's wrap to Mr. Nacho. What's good with you, man?
Good morning, Scott. How you doing? Hey, listen, I stayed back. You know, I wasn't feeling well, but so I'm able to call in. So, but no, I think, you know, hey, listen, if we can get about maybe 2 running backs or so to, you know, gain up to maybe 1,500 yards in a complementary way of using our running backs, due to the fact that we didn't address the running back room in the draft. Hey, listen, I think what I've been listening to is you guys have some great points. You have some really good points in terms of, you know, I think we've solidified and improved our offensive line up front. We got bigger tight ends to come along and complement. So if our offensive line be bigger, stronger, we blend in that type of run game along with what we have to work with at the running back room, you know, I think we're going to be fine for now. And we did miss Zeke Elliott last year, you know, as much as, you know, when he was leaving and you know, and the hype was that Pollard was going to be that number one guy. You know, Pollard was never a number one guy. He always went really well with the complement of Zeke along that point. So I'm hoping that's going to work out, right? I mean, in terms of that, do you feel that way as well?
Yeah, I think the problem was not. I said this before. My bad from sounding like a broken record. It wasn't about moving on from Zeke. It was about not replacing him with a player of that style to complement Tony Pollard. That was the main issue. I mean, in my opinion, there's a bunch of power backs that could have provided the same thing that we missed last year, right? Goal line, mostly, not really short yardage. Low key, Cowboys were fine converting on short yardage. It was goal line. That was the issue. So, and they just never replaced that. I don't know why they put their belief in Rico Dowdle. I still wouldn't, because he gets dinged up. And when he got dinged up, I think they dialed him back even more. They just didn't trust him, I don't think, as much. So they never replaced it. But now Zeke's back. But here's the problem. They don't have a Tony Pollard. So now, you know, I think what we may see, and I hope we don't, is the inverse, right? You know, everybody talking about, oh, Cowboys miss Zeke. If the Cowboys don't switch up the how or whatnot, and they don't add a Tony style of running back, we may be sitting here this time next year like, man, we miss Tony Pollard, man. You know, we got all this power stuff. Nobody could break anything longer than 17 yards, and we couldn't, you know, that could be the case. I don't know why these fools moved away from what worked. For 2 years, you saw Thunder Lightning work with Zeke and TP. Have no problem moving on from Zeke. Why the hell would you switch up the Thunder Lightning thing, though? That's my issue with it.
Is this where a Jalen Wright could have been a great?
Oh my gosh, yes.
Late in the rounds to complement.
Well, it would have been late. It would have had to be third round,
right?
It had to be third round.
Right.
Jalen Wright, there was a bunch of backs, and it just. Yeah. I don't want to go back down this rabbit hole again, but the last 2 years, I just feel like they don't have a damn clue at how to deal with this running back room. Like there's this fight amongst fans where running backs don't matter. Running backs matter. It's not about the offensive line. It's about the offensive line. Hey, there's a middle ground in all this shit. Yes, the offensive line absolutely matters. I personally believe it matters more. That doesn't mean you just completely ignore the running back, especially if you don't have a great scheme. If you don't have a great scheme, then damn it, yeah, getting a running back in the third round is not a bad idea. Unless you're going to sign a guy in free agency or trade for a guy that can do some creating things for you. Dallas did neither of those things. So, and then last year they didn't draft a guy to complement their running back. So I just don't think they have their hands around this running back situation, and we could be finding ourselves sitting here next year like, all right, now we need to go get this type of back. And they're in the media talking about, oh, well, yeah, it's running back by committee. Well, no shit. Stephen Jones, we've been told you the league has been rolling that way, but I digress.
I have a couple more questions, and realistically looking at it, under McCarthy's scheme, since he's come in the last couple of years, to your point, we haven't put any emphasis on running backs, which is beginning to get frustrating to the point that obviously they're rolling with what they got. Who knows what's going to happen next year, right? Whether McCarthy's going to be here or not, or we're going to revamp it. But, I mean, it is what it is. We're going to go with what we got. Calais Campbell continues to be a free agent that I would really, really, really love to bring in. I think he could be that guy that could replace Hankins, maybe be even a bigger, stronger force. I understand.
Well, he's taller. He ain't bigger. He's taller.
Is he not heavier?
No, not even close. Hankins go about 340 in real life. Your boy Campbell's 6'8", but I think he's around like 310-ish or so. Yeah.
But let me tell you, he's like a fine wine.
No, I'm all for it. I'm all for it. That was a guy we talked about with Pat. You know, we did the mailbag, which by the way we'll open that up tomorrow. He's one of my top 3 free agents available for the Cowboys to go get. Is Calais. I've been trying to get Calais Campbell on his team for like the last 3 seasons. Now you really need him, right? You don't have any depth at the position. You don't have a veteran in that room. You need a guy like that, in my opinion.
Are you hearing anything, or do you know anything? If that is even a thought?
There's nothing there. I don't think I've seen anything on that.
Talked about the safety room. Anything with, obviously we have to restructure the contracts. We have to pay money, but Simmons is still out there?
Excuse me?
Still out there, the safety on the Broncos?
Oh, Simmons. If I'm not mistaken, he is.
Yeah. See, the way we do work, towards the tail end, draft is over now, free agency stuff that just, I mean, that's what we do all the time, right, guys? So
What's that?
Okay, so maybe now, finally pay CD. Can we treat some money and go get a Calais / whatever and start filling in the holes? Because really what we did on draft day was really, I thought it was a solid B draft, in my opinion. We fulfilled holes. We did this, but now we got to really fill in the rest of the gap. Right?
Yeah, they usually sign a veteran guy in the summer. I think that will happen still. Obviously, positions of need are still there. Running back, well, some people will say it's not, but it is what it is. Defensive line is definitely still a position we need. I don't know if safety is so much one, but I love Justin Simmons. I'm biased. I'm a huge fan of Justin Simmons. But they just signed Hooker and Dono to contracts. I highly doubt they'll sign Justin Simmons. Now, maybe see what a good franchise would do. What I would do, I'm not saying I'd be better than these guys. I don't think I probably would. I'd off one of these guys. I'd flip them, use that bread after June 1st, and I'd sign Justin. I think Justin Simmons is better than everybody in that safety room. You know, but
thank you.
That's not what they're going to do. We're talking about the Cowboys here.
I'll leave you with this. What are your top 2 or 3 remaining free agents as need?
Well, that would require me to go look at the free agents. But I'll just tell you this: Calais Campbell is like number 1 for me. But I would have to go scour the free agent market to give you a 2 or 3. But give me Calais Campbell, and we can start talking. I appreciate you, Nacho. Good stuff.
Have a good day.
Got a little mixture of Marv there, a little mixture of Joe Sandberg. But some good conversation. I don't want to bring up Justin Simmons because it'll just tick me off that he's still available and we probably have no interest. Calais Campbell. Look, man. It just feels like this is no on Calais Campbell. Justin Simmons, man. Dude's a beast. Then he just had 3, 4, 5 interceptions last year, coming off another all-pro. Money in all-pro? Denver, we just cleaning house. Just period, man. And I try not to come on here and act like everything is Madden. You know, because some people get on here and say some crazy things like, Let's take the Marcus Lawrence off. But some people will say some crazy things. I'm just like, hey, man, look. In reality, that's not possible. But then you look at how some team, Kansas City and Philly and San Fran, and they make these moves. And I'm not saying they're Madden moves, but I mean, shit, other teams trade. We kind of forget because I brought up, I don't know if y'all saw the stat that I brought up. The Cowboys have not recouped more than a 5th round pick since the 90s. I mean, when I say 90s, I mean dating prior to 95. I didn't find any more research. I couldn't dig past like 94 or 3. And I'm astonished by that. We get it's like Stockholm syndrome. We're so used to this is how we do things that in reality, the rest of the league does not move that way. Super Bowl champions are trading their best players, right? Super Bowl, good teams are trading their mid players and recouping picks. And the Cowboys haven't recouped more than a 5th round pick outside of the draft since the 90s, like the early 90s, and maybe since Herschel Walker. That's crazy. So I say all that to say, perfect timing, by the way. I say all that to say there are moves the Cowboys could easily make from a trade standpoint, free agency standpoint, that can still elevate the squad. I just don't think they will, because those type of moves are what franchises that have been deep in the playoffs and Super Bowls and things like that's what they have done, where the Cowboys have the Sinatra syndrome. Through hell or high water, we don't care what you say. We are going to do it our way. I don't care what the evidence says out there. I don't care what these Super Bowl teams are doing. I do not care. This dude, Stephen Jones, legitimately came in front of the media and said, yeah, well, we understand what the Rams did, and good for them. They had their little bit of success. Dog, they won the Super Bowl. Stephen Jones got in front of the media and said, yeah, well, they did all right for themselves, but we think we're doing it the right way. They did all right. Stephen. They won the Super Bowl. Yeah, I know, but they're going to pay for it. Oh, you just wait. No way they can keep this up. 2 years later, they're back in the playoffs with $40 million and all they picks. Oh, the Eagles are going to pay for signing all these players in free agency in 2017 and making these trades. And they done been to the Super Bowl with 2 different quarterbacks, 2 different coaches, an idiot of a coach. I digress. We're not supposed to be doing this right now. We're talking about the rookie minicamp watch list. Anyway, man, this was fun today. Good stuff. On your way out, please do me a favor if you enjoyed today's show, our rookie minicamp preview. Plus, we talked a little bit about our guy here, Zay Jones, who could potentially, we'll see. Now, he came in for the Cowboys and did an interview or whatnot. He left. Now he's out there at Kansas City. But if he does come in here, man, Zay Jones brings some veteran depth to this position room. But we'll see if that happens. Yeah, so if you enjoyed it, hit the like button, man. Share this to your Cowboys friends and family, and even people that hate the Cowboys. Maybe they'll, we got some people that ain't even Cowboy fans. Shouts out to y'all. If they Eagle fans, though, ain't too many I fool with like that. But we'll take the numbers. Run them up, baby. Run them up. Hold up real quick. Before we go, let me do this right quick. Bada bing. Bada boom. Realest guys in the room. If you know the rest, say it with me. That is Voch Lombardi's latest breakdown on Julius Woods. Cowboys undrafted free agent safety. Julius Woods is the next Marquise Bell. Go check that out. I know I'm about to. My man, he get the Illuminati film for y'all, man. I'm telling y'all. Look, Voch usually be chilling on UDFAs. He getting y'all some crazy Illuminati film right now. Don't let this go to waste. Shouts out to you, Rocco. With that said, I'm supposed to hit this button. But instead, I'm going to hit this button. 1 minute. Bada bing, bada boom. Thicker than a Snicker is just. It go hard, Jay. Ha, 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 ha. All right, I'm out of here. Love y'all. Peace. This cake will make you show up. It's crazy. They disrespected this man, man. These yams deserve a trophy. Nah, Drake gotta put his hands on Metro, bro. Saying another man's yams